Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. I made a couple of notes. Want to talk to you about a couple of things. It's trying to consider which is the one that I should start open with. And this stays on my mind. It says, like, the least important thing. In fact, the least important thing on the face of the earth that gets more attention than anything on the face of the earth. What is it? Some people say it's Money. Money. And so when I think about the importance that we give to something that has no real value, I think about the question of what has happened over the past 2 years when it comes down to the coronavirus. 2 years. The virus seems to be unconquerable. You think you got it, something else comes, then a variant, and then you dodge it, and it's just wow, going wild. Everybody says what we're gonna do. They're telling us something, then somebody's saying it's man-made. I think I heard someone say that. Doesn't matter if it's man-made or if it fell out of the sky. The effects of it is, you know what that is. What are we going to do about it? Stop. 400 years of absolute racism and bigotry and negative effects of it against the race of people because of their color. 400 years. Or 200 if you want to just bring it 200 plus. Excuse me. And today, it's just like it was 200 years ago. At least they're trying to take it back there, right in the middle of what we call democracy, right in the middle of what we call advancement, social advancement, the greatest nation on the face of the earth, standing up like a mirror for people to see themselves and have the sun shine on and reflect it to the world. All of this, 400 years. Now, we look at how do we deal with the virus? Are we trying to get rid of it? We're getting the vaccines. We're getting the boosters. We're getting the pills. We're getting them everywhere. We want to deal with it. We want to deal with it. You see what they're trying to do? They're trying to deal with it. If they can get rid of it, they'll get rid of it. I do believe. Now, some people might say they won't. They might say it's a money making thing. But to me, I believe if they could get rid of it, they would. They are trying, at least right before our very eyes. So I ask you, why aren't they attacking racism the same way? Why aren't they attacking bigotry the same way? Is there profit in it? And if so, why does it continue? Well, I say to you this, ladies and gentlemen. The only way that humankind can show concern for another is to treat them and protect them as if they were you. Now, what do I mean by that? When I talk to you in light of the things that's happening in America today, I usually speak about a God, a power that's invisible that we can't see. And I compare that with governments of the world today, especially the one here within the United States. I talk about the Republicans and I talk about Donald Trump and those people that believe in Donald Trump. I talk about the lie that he spread, and I talk about the 74 million people that says we want the lie anyway. I talk about the Democrats who say, well, we want to build back better, and think about the people who say, well, we don't want to build back better because people will use the money to buy drugs. Now, you think about that. You think about that now. You see how money is being used to manipulate. You see money having people, the rich people, doing exactly what they want to do, and people suffer. Sometimes I think if I had the power, and I'll never get that power, but if I had the power to make sure that, to address America, so that Americans, and every last one of them would have available to them from the system, unlimited access to food, clothing, shelter, unlimited access in any style you want to fix it up to be. And it's all for you free. It would be no problem to have restricted nothing when it comes down to education. That's unlimited. That's unrestricted. Forever if you need it. Free. Health care from the womb to the tomb. Free. And then say that you guarantee this to each of you by making sure that every last one of you who got a gift, and every last one of you got a gift, something that you would love doing. And now you have access to do it, and you can do it, and it gives you your greatest joy. I mean, your greatest joy is in doing it. And as you do it, collectively, all of you are creating all of those goods and services that rest in the reservoir in such an abundance that no one would be absent anything. Their needs, their wants, and their desires will be met, making an easy path for peace and prosperity and freedom, and the joy of life, fulfillment of dreams. Isn't that something? Isn't that absolutely wonderful? This, my friends, is what is being proposed. But now this will never happen unless you had somebody who would come all along asking and advocating this to the American people, and the American people decide that this is something that they want, and they would support it. Now, in supporting it, you got to be honest. If you're trying to deal with this thing from a point of view of we the people, mankind sitting there trying to be a Republican or a Democrat, got there for various philosophies and trying to address the concerns of the people, I don't care where you're trying to go. If you're going to use that principle, you are going to stay in the same old field you've been in all your lives. You got to step outside of that. You got to step outside of this old box. You got to be able to imagine, and you got to imagine this thing to be real. And as you see it, you got to proclaim it. And as you proclaim it, you got to make it real. Why? Because that's what it's for. The imagination delivers it right where it's supposed to be, and the mind moves and hand starts working, and people start seeing miracles work in their lives. So this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm saying. When you have the opportunity to experience these kinds of things, you ask yourself, why don't men accept it? Why don't men show this kind of compassion? Why don't men protect one another? This is the only way that you can say that you're reflecting the spiritual Father, the spiritual power, the spiritual Lord, the spiritual God, whatever in form that might be. Because of what you're doing. This is not a God of Republican and Democrat again. It is a spiritual God. And what happens, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the most beautiful thing of it all, is that in this process, each of you, by doing what you're doing, by experiencing the freedom, experiencing the joy of life, each of you are at the same moment experiencing the Spirit of God in your lives. And it's coming out, it's flowing from you. And we are creating a different, beautiful world. Now, I want to tell you this before I go. God is about heaven. Politics is about politics. Right now in America, it's about building better or a civil war. At least that's what the Republican Party of Donald Trump. Every time you talk about the right wingers, they're talking about killing. And I want to say this about whether you're killing for your personal reasons, or whether you're killing for hate groups, or whether you're killing for some national quest. I want you to know this. Your national or your nation that might order you to kill or be killed, or your hate that will cause you to engage yourself in killing someone, I want you to know neither you nor your nation got a heaven for your eternity. Think about that. Remember this. An innocent man is condemned, convicted, and is sent to the electric chair. People try to get a stay, it doesn't happen. So an innocent man is electrocuted. Who's responsible for that man's death? Who is responsible for that innocent man's death? Now, many of you will try to find someone else to blame. You're going to try to say the government that is controlling it. You're going to try to say all kinds of things. But the truth of the matter is that the power that is behind this guy's death is the people, all of you. Now, let me tell you the role that you play in it. The suffering that goes on in your communities, your suffering that goes on across your land, it is designed to happen that way. Now, I have suggested that rather than act crazy on these corners with signs begging, looking like you have been made to look like, use your head, stand up boldly, know that you have been robbed. If you don't know you've been robbed, know this. Know that your system of government has failed to accommodate your needs. Know that. And be bold enough to challenge any man that says, vote for me, because I'm good at all of that kind of stuff. I can take care of your needs. So put your vote behind me. Go up to that person and say, here are my problems. Thank you very much for being so willing. Let's handle it. Now, as it happens for an individual, it happens for a group. So you will find out that your mayor is a mayor, meaning he has a job. He or she has a job. Their job is to take care of certain responsibilities. It is not to take care of your problems. Thank you very much. Let's take it from your mayor, which I say that if your mayor is capable of dealing with your problems, then you're supposed to take it to the next level. At least that's what I would do, since the governor, the state governor in Minnesota and the governor of every state says, hey, those guys are your mayors. They're just up a chain of, this is a chain of command. They are mayors and aldermen. I got my legislature and I'm governor. I'm bad. I got it all like that. I got all the cities within the state. I can handle it. So all of you cities who have been failed to have your problems dealt with your mayors, come on over to the state. Bring your problems to the state. This bad, next step. Lay your problems on the table. Lay your problems on the table. And likewise, let them deal with it. Now you will find out that at the state level, your problems is not on their agenda as far as dealing with them. You know, they can mess with them a little bit here and there, but they got a job to do. And it is in maintaining the status quo. Has nothing to do with dealing with your problems. Of course, depending upon how important it is and how political advantage they can get out of it, they might do a little here, a little there, either side, you know. But dealing with your problems, are you out of your mind? Well, if the city won't deal with your problems, if the state refuses to deal with your problem, then collectively, I know all of the cities and all of the states are going to go to the federal level. Hey, you've heard me say it before. They're on the table. You the baddest boys in town. I'm just talking to you like this, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to treat you the same way. You know why? Because they weren't designed to deal with your problems. They're part of a movement. They got a thing going on. And it's been working. So don't come rocking the boat. That ain't happening. And if anybody comes along trying to talk about it, they're usually trying to, well, like they're doing in the U.S. now, as I said, somebody's trying to start a civil war, a race war. And there's all kinds of things happen across the world. We got the fires, we got the floods, we got the hurricanes, we got the storms. Even nature is calling everybody, trying to get your attention. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, nature is trying to get your attention. Suffering, pain is happening to people everywhere. They're not asking for this stuff. The snowstorms, the cars are stopped on the highways. They're just all against each other. People are, well, thank God haven't heard too much about people getting killed, but the disasters are just happening. The volcanoes, you know, can you imagine what it must be like to be in these places? Thank God you are not there, but look, you should be there in spirit. And you should be wondering, how in the world can we deal with this? Well, when we change our hearts, we will look at those who have suffered the most as those who are most deserving to receive the benefits of joy in life. We will see that those who have suffered the most, who have lived on the street corners, who slept behind tents in cold weather, who have, all my friends, no, if somebody can have it better, it got to be those who have gone through so much. And after those who have had a little better life, you know, but not that much better. They've been maybe in housing, Section 8 housing, maybe. Some of them been able to afford their own rent. They had some jobs, part-time jobs, or working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet, but they've been standing up trying to play their role in the system, not trying to be ghetto, but sometimes find themselves in the ghetto. These should have their needs met right away. And to make it a long story short, the desire is that love would guide you, that all the way up the pole, those who should be next, you know what I mean, the last ones who would be addressed in those particular kinds of orders of concern are those who have been filthy, wealthy, rich all their lives, or presently filthy rich. In other words, they have been living the kind of lifestyle they've always wanted to live, and they are still living it. Not trying to stop it. Not trying to stop it at all. But the point of it is, as far as the system is concerned, in making sure that this is a heavenly way of life where everybody can enjoy the life that was created for them, not having any reason to lie, to cheat, or steal, not having any reason, none whatsoever, to be able to oppress another, to have any power, any authority over another at any time. All you have is love to share. Amen? Amen. Now let me see, is there anything else down here I haven't said? All right, that's cool. Well, I think I'll end with what I said, what I started with. The least important thing on the face of the earth gets more attention than anything on the face of the earth. And that is, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.